This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I have a few good friends with me. Here's Rick Dina and Kailash Niels and myself, John Kohler. We've all been successful long-term raw vegans, living the raw foods lifestyle. Now we've each done things a little bit differently in our lives, but we've all been successful due to some commonalities. So we're going to share with you basically our histories and how we got into raw foods and what we eat on a daily basis so that you could learn what really works. So first we're going to start off with Rick.
So as John said, my name is Rick Dina, and I have been a total vegan, predominantly raw, about 90% raw, completely vegan, for 23 and a half years. And what got me started back in 1987 is when I was a kid, I had a number of health challenges. I had terrible allergies and hay fever that I think it's pretty safe to say plagued my childhood. I couldn't play Little League, for example, because they cut the lawn before we went out there, and I was just a mess. I had runny itchy eyes, runny nose. I felt exhausted. It was really difficult. And by the time I was a freshman in college, I was 30 pounds overweight, feeling run down, feeling sluggish. I knew I needed to do something different. So I started out by reading some sports nutrition books, getting some exercise. I had the good fortune of reading some books about vegan nutrition, so started taking that approach, and then within a year or two of that, learned about raw food. And every step along the way, I felt better and better, and eventually my allergies almost completely subsided, and I feel much better now at 43 than I did back when I was a teenager. So at this point, what a typical day looks like for me, I mean, there's plenty of variation from day to day, but a roughly typical day usually goes something like this. So breakfast, I might have a cantaloupe, for example, once it's nice and ripe. And, a lot of times they say, raw food's so complicated, I can't keep up with all this. Well, here's my breakfast. I take that cantaloupe, I cut it in half, I scoop out the seeds of one half and eat it, and that takes a while, but I'm good and full and it's delicious. And then I scoop out the seeds of the other half and eat that. So I'm good and full. It's a really satisfying breakfast. Lunch, typically, I'll make a fruit and green smoothie. That'll consist of some fresh orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice, a couple of ripe bananas, once there's plenty of specks on there, but they're not bad or rotten. A couple of those go in. Then I'll put the leaves of 4 or 5 leaves of something green, like not the stalks, just the green part, green leaf part. Typically it's kale, although lately John has helped my wife and I grow a bunch of greens in our backyard, so we'll go out and I'll pick some collard greens or some broccoli greens or something and add those in, and then I'll usually add some frozen mango or blueberries or other frozen fruit, and it makes a nice big blender full. I'll drink that, or sometimes it's really thick. I'll just eat it with a spoon, and it's really delicious. So that's a typical lunch. And for dinner, I always have a gigantic salad. My wife and I, we spend time chopping up our salad and making it, and some of this comes from the yard now these days also. But this is the salad bowl that I eat every night, and it's completely full. So typically there might be like a whole head of romaine in here, usually a whole head of cauliflower. I absolutely love raw cauliflower. I've been eating 5 heads of cauliflower a week for the last 23 years. And I have the lab work to prove my thyroid is in optimal condition and things are going great there. Usually we'll shred some zucchini in here, and then we'll make a creamy dressing for it that typically consists of fresh squeezed lemon juice, some squash, like zucchini squash, summer squash, and then we'll put some soaked almonds and sesame in there, as well as some either flax or chia seeds. So it's a really good mix of omega-3s and 6s and 9s, and it's, mix it all up, and it takes about a half an hour to eat, tons of vegetables, and I just feel so good after that. It's great. And it's interesting, for those of you, or for those students who have taken my wife and I's Science of Raw Food Nutrition series of classes that we teach up with the Living Light International in Fort Bragg, California, you know the nutrient profile of that diet. So I just want to go over that really quickly. So that typical day I did a whole nutrient analysis. First of all, I got 66 grams of protein, and the typical RDA for an adult man is 54. So I more than exceeded my total protein, and every single essential amino acid I exceeded by a very large margin. Oftentimes here I've got quadruple the RDA for every essential amino acid and for total protein. I got 1,200 milligrams of calcium, 23 milligrams of iron. The RDA is 10. I only got about 430 milligrams of sodium. You're not supposed to get more than 2,200, so I'm way below. Got enough zinc, got double the copper. You're supposed to have about 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. I got 65,000 from beta carotene. You're supposed to get 75 milligrams of vitamin C. I got 1,300 milligrams. You're supposed to have 10 milligrams of vitamin E. I got 33. I also tripled the amount of folate that I need and almost tripled the amount of fiber without any sawdust or bran or wheat germ or any of that. So I so much enjoy all the food I eat. I'm replete with nutrients, and so far after 23 and a half years, it seems to be working.
All right, great. Thank you, Rick. Diet rich in fresh fruits and vegetables is what the raw food diet should be about, but it's getting into buying all these products nowadays. So once again, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com, and keep eating those fresh fruits and vegetables. They're the best for you.